Very good. At Holy Mass on special feast days, we celebrate, we recite, we chant the Creed. And it's very important that we understand the Creed because the Creed tells us what we have been taught by God in His revelation, especially in Jesus Christ. And so we're going to talk about some various aspects of the Creed as we go, and we're going to spend some particular time particularly talking about who God is over these next couple of lessons. In the lesson, the first part that you have is the first part of the Athanasian Creed, which is one of the early creeds of the Church, and which lays out the theology of the Trinity in a lot more detail than you find in the Nicene-Constantinopolitan Creed that we pray at Mass. Nicene-Constantinopolitan just simply meaning from the councils of Nicaea and Constantinople, from which that creed comes. So you can review the creed for yourself in your lesson, noting a couple of things. So St. Athanasius is emphasizing the fact that God is a Trinity, but He is also a unity, that He's uncreated, that He's unlimited, that He's eternal, that He's almighty, and all of these things apply to all three persons of the Most Holy Trinity. There are three persons, but they are distinct from each other. And the questions from your catechism, which you'll be reviewing in today's lesson, will go into some of this detail. St. Athanasius emphasizes this unity, but also this distinction. And he also speaks about the eternity of the Trinity. One of the things that we as Christians have trouble understanding, because we humans live in time, is the fact that when we refer to the first and second person, particularly as Father and Son, that we are thinking of them as we think of our human father and son. And it's just important to remember that when we use this language, this is the language God has given us, but it's still limited because it's human language. He's giving us words which help us to understand the relationship between the persons, but it's still limited by our intellect and the words that we use. So, one of the examples that I heard from C.S. Lewis, and I don't know if he got it from someplace else, in explaining this is like this. So the three persons of the Trinity, the relationship between them, is similar to the relationship between these three books. We call this the top book, the middle book, and the bottom book because that's what they are in relation to the others. It's not that this top book exists before the second book. It's simply because that the relationship between the top book and the middle book, insofar as we can use language to describe it, is top and middle, how it relates to each other within this stack of three books. But this is not... obviously, any example that I give is going to be limited, but the fact is that that's how we think about the Trinity, in the sense that the relationship between the Father and the Son is Father and Son, but not exactly in the sense of, in the human sense, in that the Son exists after the Father. The Son exists at the same time, just as this book is the top book in relation to the middle and bottom book because of where it is in the space, not because of coming before or after. It's a matter of position, not a matter of time. And again, we just have to accept the mystery of that until, please God, we can understand it a little bit more by seeing it in heaven. But the fact is that the relations within God are not a matter of time. The questions from your catechism today will go over, from the lesson, will go over some of the other things that we speak about the Most Holy Trinity. I just want to end with a short admonition to remember that we need to make sure that we have the Apostles' Creed memorized. Again, we have to memorize a number of things, not because of any written tests, but because it's good to have this information ready for when we need it for our own use in our prayer and our study, but also when we're dealing with other people, to be able to explain what it is that we believe in a synthesized, simple, direct way.